There we go.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm the poster child.
And I'm Scott.
And together we are Backyard Musings.
Right.
Apple Valley.
Yeah, and the Science and Technology channel.
Yeah, I say poster child because this is for me today. A groundbreaking new study has revealed that tirzepatide, I'll say that again, tirzepatide leads to significantly greater weight loss than semaglutide in people living with obesity but without diabetes. That's me, I'm the poster child. Over the course of 72 weeks, participants taking tirzepatide lost an average of 20.2% of their body weight. That's a 47% greater reduction compared to the 13.7% average weight loss seen with semaglutide. A lot of percentages in there, okay? These results, you might have to rewind and go back a little bit to figure it out. These results were presented in the 2025 European Congress on Obesity in Malaga, Spain, and published in the New England Journal of Medicine on May 11, 2025. The study was led by Dr. Louis J. Aronne, director of the Comprehensive Weight Control Center at Weill Cornell Medicine in New York City. Would you like to know more?
So all over the place in this study. Both tirzepatide and semaglutide. Semaglutide. I'm going to butcher that one the whole time. So, are powerful medications used to help manage obesity. However, this is the first direct comparison of the two in people who do not have type 2 diabetes. The research was sponsored by Eli Lilly and Company.
Oh, big corporate money.
Yeah, big company. The makers of tirzepatide. In the trial, 751 adults with obesity but no diagnosis of diabetes were randomly assigned to receive either tirzepatide at 10 milligrams or 15 milligrams, or semaglutide at 1.7 milligrams or 2.4 milligrams. I wonder why the big reduction there.
Yeah, it is strange.
Yeah.
That's almost 10% of the other one.
Yeah, both medications were given as once weekly injections for a total of 72 weeks.
This is already slanted, man.
Why 72 weeks too? That's what about a year and a half, right?
Yeah, not quite a year and a half.
Yeah.
But it's by a corporate, tirzepatide, so naturally it's going to be slanted towards them. And the milligrams are like 90% higher.
Yeah, big difference.
I guess you got to really shoot yourself up with the stuff to have it work. The average participant was about 45 years old. Roughly 2/3 were women, and just over 3/4 were white.
So this is just the opposite.
This is
what the last study.
This is white privilege right here in action.
More women than men, and the other one was more men than women, right?
Yeah.
And they say predominantly men.
Yeah, both of those from yesterday and today could be white privilege examples. Most
get on it.
Most have been living with obesity for around 16 years. At the start of the study, their average body weight was 113 kilograms, with an average body mass. So that's 113. It's about 240 pounds. 2.42.
Yeah. 2.5.
Or 2.2 or something.
Roughly.
With an average BMI of 39.4. That's healthy right there. And an average waist circumference of 118 centimeters. That's about 50 inches, 52 inches.
It's pretty big on a girth.
Yeah. About half of the group also had 2 or more obesity-related health conditions.
Okay, the primary endpoint at week 72 was the percentage change in weight from baseline. Key secondary endpoints included weight reduction targets of at least 10%, 15%, 20%, and 25%, and change in waist circumference from baseline to week 72.
Okay, let's get into it here. Key inclusion criteria for this trial included being aged 18 years or older, a BMI of 30 kilograms per meter squared or more, or a BMI of 27 kilograms per meter squared or more, and at least one pre-specified obesity-related complication: hypertension, dyslipidemia, obstructive sleep apnea, or cardiovascular disease, and experiencing at least one unsuccessful dietary effort for weight reduction. Well, that's like every New Year's resolution, right? For every year going back 50 years.
Yeah, I wonder what some of those were, those unsuccessful dietary efforts.
I promised to lose weight. I promised to stop eating fried foods.
I mean, sometimes that's not good either, right?
I can't give up Coke.
Yeah, sometimes.
Can't do that.
Sometimes these weight loss programs are even worse, right? Because you lose weight fast, and then it's off, and then you start your habits back up, or even worse.
Yeah, the habits.
Because you can. So.
Key exclusion criteria included diagnosis of diabetes, prior or planned surgical treatment for obesity, like the gastro
bypass.
Bypass, yeah.
And I've known some people that have had some fatal results of those.
Really? Did they starve, or what happened? Just
no, somehow something inside got all twisted up, and they died.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not good.
Okay, prior or planned surgical treatment for obesity, or if within 90 days before screening they had received treatment with a medication for weight reduction or a GLP-1 receptor agonist. That doesn't sound good. An agonist, like agony? Oh, that doesn't sound good. Or a change in body weight of more than 5 kilograms, which would be like 2 pounds. No, 10 pounds, 12 pounds.
The mean percentage change in weight at week 72 was that negative 20% or at 20%? 20.2%?
Or a drop of 20%.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. With tirzepatide and 13.7% with 20% with tirzepatide and 13.7% with semaglutide. Thus 47% higher for okay, so is that they got more injection with the tirzepatide than they do?
More milligrams, yeah. It was like 90% more.
So that would make sense then, right? Higher weight loss.
Why wouldn't they do it like the same amount for
I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'd have to find out exactly what
they wouldn't get the results they wanted then.
Yeah. The mean decrease in waist circumference was less than 18.4 centimeters. Is that what that?
Yeah, negative. It went down 18, reduced.
Again, with tirzepatide and negative 13% or 13. Was that centimeters? 13.0 centimeters.
Yeah.
With semaglutide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm not a math guy or a science guy, so I don't understand these.
It's about 6 inches.
Okay.
13 centimeters.
So that's not bad for 50. What did they say? The girth was about 50. The waistline was
50
about 50
inches. Started out. Yeah.
So that's not a bad drop there.
That's
right?
not. That goes down to 44. That's okay.
That's not bad. You're buying new pants at that point, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Or a new belt to hitch it up.
Yeah. Participants treated with tirzepatide were 30%, 60%, and 80%, and twice as likely to achieve the weight reduction targets of 10, 15, and 20 and 25%.
Twice as likely,
respectively. Yeah. But they were getting more injection, right?
Yeah. So if that's true, then the lower amount of, it's counterintuitive. The lower amount of semaglutide almost had the same effects as the higher amount of tirzepatide. So
so you're putting less of this junk in your body. Whatever, and I say junk.
Smoke's coming out of my ears right now.
Yeah, too much thinking going on in this one. A total of 19.7% of the participants in the tirzepatide group had a reduction in body weight of at least 30%, an exploratory endpoint, as compared with 6.9% of those in the semaglutide group, which indicated that the likelihood of meeting this weight reduction target with tirzepatide was 2.8 times as high as that of semaglutide. I'm getting a headache thinking about all this.
I guess what you can learn from this, go with tirzepatide, I guess.
I wonder if there's a cost difference.
Like
one is more expensive than the other.
Maybe that's why they did this study. We're more expensive, but we're worth it, right? Huh.
Yeah.
The most common adverse events for both study treatments were gastrointestinal. So you got gas. You can take Gas X for that. And most were mild to moderate in severity, occurring primarily during dose escalation. So I guess you start out with a small dose and then you work your way up to.
That makes sense.
Weight reduction.
Gets used to it.
Yeah. Weight reduction was around 6% less in males than females for both treatments, and is believed to explain the slightly lower weight reduction in the current trial compared with previous trials. The current trial had a higher proportion of males at 35%, especially compared to the STEP, S-T-E-P, that's an acronym, non-diabetes trials, which included 19 to 26% of males. There's a lot of percentages in here, man.
There is.
For a simple man like me, it's starting to get confusing.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this so much stuff here. This is kind of giving me a headache.
Me too. The current findings align with results reported for the SURMOUNT and STEP programs, those are acronyms, as well as recent real-world evidence demonstrating higher weight reduction with tirzepatide than semaglutide.
Okay, Dr. What do you say? Aronne explains, although it is a single molecule, tirzepatide pharmacologically activates two metabolic receptors.
Two for the price of one.
Yeah, GIP and GLP-1, which are both overlapping and non-overlapping expression and function. I have no idea what that means. If you know what that means, non-overlapping and overlapping.
They don't overlap,
I guess.
So.
Oh, okay. This dual agonism activity of tirzepatide may contribute to the higher or greater weight reduction observed with tirzepatide than with semaglutide. A mono agonist used in the current trial.
That just doesn't sound agony, man. The root word is agony. It's Latin. Agony.
Okay. Yeah.
Huh. Or agonus. Agonus. The results show that as weight reduction increased, there were greater improvements in cardiometabolic risk factors, including blood pressure and blood fat and sugar levels, with both treatments consistent with previous reports. The authors explain that while some patients will not necessarily require the higher magnitudes of weight reduction to see clinical benefits overall, these findings support the clinical relevance of the current study, as the majority of participants receiving tirzepatide, 65%, that's a majority, were able to achieve at least 15% weight loss versus 40% for semaglutide. And nearly a third, 32%, achieved at least 25% weight reductions with tirzepatide compared to 16% with semaglutide.
I think my ride's coming.
Your ride's coming?
I think so.
It's on the way?
Yeah. They further explain that the additional 5.4 centimeter extra reduction in waist circumference with tirzepatide compared with semaglutide is also clinically relevant. In a large pooled analysis of weight circumference and mortality, each 5 centimeter increase in waist circumference predicted a 7% increase in mortality among men and 9% among women. That 5 centimeters, that is not very much, right?
Right.
Is that about an inch?
No, that's 2 inches.
2 inches?
Maybe, yeah, 2. A 2-inch increase in weight increases 7%.
Man, you could get that going to Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. Or 31 flavors. Yeah. Baskin Robbins.
In alignment with these data, published guidance has emphasized the importance of treating patients with abdominal obesity and aiming for a reduction of at least 4 centimeters.
The trial has certain strengths and limitations. One strength is the diversity of participants, as 19% reported race as Black, African American, and 26% reported ethnicity Hispanic or Latino, representative of the populations in the USA living with obesity. The trial's approach of using, The trial's approach of using the maximum tolerated dose for both treatments addresses a potentially more meaningful real-world question compared to a fixed dose approach. However, a limitation is that the trial was not blinded, meaning participants knew which drug and the dose they were receiving. So that's psychosomatic. If I knew I'm getting tirzepatide, I'm going to lose my weight, right? However, the authors explain the consistency of the current findings with previously blinded trials supports their generalizability.
Dr. Aronne concludes, quote, "Our study shows that treatment with tirzepatide was superior to semaglutide with respect to the reduction in body weight and waist circumference."
So Dr. Aronne, he's getting funded for his next research project.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Big Pharma's going to pay you.
Yeah, but like you just mentioned that. So, people that are taking pharmaceuticals for diabetes, say type 2 diabetes. So if they know that they're going to eat a meal, Twinkie, that's not going to be good for them, they may pop an extra pill.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Is it like that?
I would think it's bad because those stuff have side effects.
Yeah, there's going to be issues, right? And especially when you're
follow the dosage recommendations of your doctor, right?
Yeah, and then just eat, like you say, we talked about, more often. right? If you eat smaller amounts
Smaller.
more often,
Yeah.
and then
And not highly processed,
right.
ultra processed foods.
And then the other day we talked about brisk walking. Right?
Brisk walking, yep. For
Um,
cognitive, yep.
Right. Or just walking in general.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
anyway.
All right, folks. We're glad that you lasted this long.
Yeah, this is a
in
long
our
one.
segment.
This is a long one. We had a lot of comments on this one. So from us, I'm talking about. So we'd love to hear your comments.
Thanks.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.